Welcome, February 2021, Penfield Trails Committee monthly meeting. We have an agenda to fulfill as usual. We have, Eleanor, we have one excused absence, Tim Masterton. Silence your cell phones. Make sure you've got your brand new, so the camera can see it, nameplate. Thank you, Andrew, for doing that. All right, we have, the first thing we have, after this is the call to order, our approval of the January 6th minutes. Fabulous Eleanor did a great job in summarizing our January meeting. And what I put in gold was something we're going to talk about on the agenda today, Ed.
Okay.
That's important to us, an action item that I don't want to delay anymore, so I want to put it in double action the next 2 weeks. We'll get there. So check out your minutes and let me know. After the minutes are approved by a couple of our folks here.
I move they be accepted as presented.
I second it.
Thank you very much, Ed and Bob. We're going to skip ahead because our rec director, Andrew Erfitz, is here, and he's here for two purposes. One, to talk about our special hike, February hike at the end of the month, Friday, February 26th at Harris Whalen Park, with the hopes of snow and clear full moon, and try and replicate the fabulous sled and hot chocolate party we had last year doing this. Andrew.
Yep, so really last year, I don't know how many people are familiar with it, but the hiking trails that we do have up top at Harris Whalen, we kind of modified a couple of them just to make them a little bit easier loops for people. And what we did was we marked them with some glow sticks that we went out beforehand, put them on a couple of the different trails and just made a couple different loops, a smaller one. Roughly that took about 15 minutes, and then a longer one that was about a half an hour. The plan is to do that same thing this year, and last year I think Nels was up there to lead the hike, and the thought was the event that we plan on having, like hot chocolate, some small social distance activities along with natural sledding that'll happen, but maybe we could do a hike scheduled at 6:30, maybe one at 7 o'clock, and then one at 7:30. If it's the same person that leads them, great. I went out with Nels last year, and it's just, you know, it doesn't have to be too informative, just kind of follow the marked glow sticks. But we have trail maps already laid out for those routes that we can hand out to people and any volunteers that are willing to come and do that. So if you're willing, you can come at any of those different times. You can come for all of those times, but that's at least what we're planning for right now. And that's on the February 26th.
It was fun last year.
Yeah, sorry if I forgot.
Yeah, I even borrowed a sled from one of the kids and take a run.
Yeah, I mean, last year it was really busy. I know driving by Harris Whalen this year, it's pretty much packed every day, which is a great thing with everything that's going on. So definitely adding those hikes up top would be awesome. So thank you guys.
And then important arm is our pre-publicity, so we'll make sure that Sabrina has the exact timing to come out on.
Yep, yeah, it's on social media, it's on our website, so.
Right, and Andy's also here to let us know in general our situation for programming in general. Andy, is there any change from Albany?
Recently, the yellow and orange zones were lifted in our area, which opened up larger public gatherings. It hasn't really affected too much of our programming here, except for higher risk sports and recreation is now allowed, following the basic rules that were kind of out there back in last June and July when we had kind of the moderate sports start. So it is nice to see that we're headed in a general good direction to open things up, but hopefully we continue on that path. And we have seen an increase in enrollments and programming in this past season, just in January. So everything's kind of pointed in the right direction. We're just hoping to keep moving back uphill.
Well, I thank you,
Yeah.
Andrew, and I encourage all of our committee members who so feel to join me Friday, February 26th on top of the hill. And we'll even set up a fire again, won't we?
We're gonna try our best, yes. That was very important last year, so I would imagine that'll be up there as well.
Okay, review of our January 9th hike from the north side of Ellison Park where there was very little snow. I'm gonna go over and personally thank the Ellison Park staff for making sure the fort was unlocked, because we basically accomplished the two things. We bring the hikers to the fort, the fire's going, and if we didn't have hot chocolate, the hot chocolate was, thanks to Eileen Reese, was warm. So we fulfilled that part of the usual hiking loop. So we had 5 staffers show up, and we hornswoggled 2 hikers who joined us at the fort.
Did you have any publicity on it?
Well, speaking of that, back in December for the 1,000 Acre Swamp, we had nobody. We had staffers, but no takers. So I'm hoping the sled party can be a cross-fertilization for getting the word out. Hey, we're doing this every month. Join us at, you want to know more about the Shadow Pines property? Join us in March. In fact, join us March 13th at Shadow Pines.
And also Nels too, our rec program brochure that usually has all the hikes located in it for the season. Ever since last spring, we've only made it available online. We are planning on mailing it and printing it to residents this upcoming spring. So that'll be coming out at the end of this month, and that should help with some promotion for the trails and things like that. So that'll be kind of a hard copy in people's mailboxes at the end of this month. So we're looking forward to kind of getting back to where we were before COVID with our advertising.
Anyway, these hikes aren't a secret.
Yep, so that should help.
Thank you, Andrew. So, the public relations and staffing for our upcoming hike, we've discussed that, and let's try and support it as best we can and hope for snow and the clouds part for a shiny full moon. Immediate trails needs report, just something I have handy if anybody wants to take any town trail and check it out and give me feedback on it. For Tim Masterson and me and Andy, thank you very much. I'm going to do Harris Whalen before the sledding party on the 26th. I'll get that to Tim and Andy. So I'm going to do Harris Whalen. Conservation Board, Ed, are they meeting tonight?
No, they met last night, and I didn't see Eileen at the meetings, and I did view it, so I will give you a brief update. They're scheduling a meeting at 100 Old Quarry Lane. That hasn't happened yet. It's gonna be town board members and conservation board members to review the plans that our IT now has for that property. They did a hike or a survey of 1700 Baird Road. That's at the end of Baird where it comes into Atlantic. It's on the east side of the road. There's a 5-lot subdivision proposed for that. The only connection we might have to that is if Brook runs through the middle of the property there. So at some time in the future, if we want to do something to connect veterans and the nature preserve, which is, I think it's Hip Brook Nature Preserve, they're on the end of Bronson Drive. That's something we can look at in the future. They've got 2 new projects 1310 Penfield Center Road. It's between Route 250 and Harris Road. It's a 3-lot subdivision on 20 acres, planned for 2 new homes. And 1357 Jackson Road, Birch Crest subdivision. It's on the corner of Jackson and Plank. That's a sketch application for a 4-lot subdivision using town law number 278. Those two are going to be visited by the Conservation Board. The Conservation Board did submit a report, like I said, on the Baird Road project, but they haven't done one yet on the quarry project. That'll do for the Conservation Board. Their minutes are online if anybody wants to look at them. And their meetings are televised on the first Tuesday of the month at 7 o'clock. Channel 1303.
Okay, thanks, Ed, but we're right back to something that we talked about in January, and I want to walk away very quickly. The next two items are really combined, held item and old business. And we go back to the yellowed out area on the minutes that I have here. Is there any way you could construct for me, in an email form, the form that you'd like to submit to the planning board about our concerns, put it on the table? We still want the easement along the west part of Old Arundicoid.
Well, someplace on the property, they're kind of adamant about not going across their property. So
I know,
All right,
but
Gene.
the point is that you,
they
the point is
kicked
that
out the
you,
fishermen off.
your suggestion in the January meeting to make it a statement of action of our concern.
Yeah,
Could you put it together and email it to me?
I don't email, but I'll see if I can do something.
Well,
Is it legally posted then?
It may be, no, I don't think it is yet,
Oh.
but they do patrol it. But
They
have
do?
somebody there all the time.
Wow.
well then,
Yeah.
tell you what, you put it in a format, a block format with the articulation you want, the
Yeah.
to and the from, and make sure I have it this month.
I will do that, and I also plan on talking to the town board tomorrow night on the subject during the public participation.
Well, that would be another alert.
Well, that'll also alert Councilwoman Kohl and Councilwoman Draw, who's on the Conservation Committee, to the projects that we're looking to do.
And take the minutes with you, because there's a summary on the other yellow thing here.
Right, I have that.
To things that you want to make sure, in summary, that the planning board needs to know about.
Well, Jim Costello was working on some of those, but I never got a response as to whether he finished any of those. access
Simply,
roads.
folks, this concerns,
Looking at,
from the Penfield Trails Committee perspective, making sure we alert the planning board to preserve easements for possible town trails, not to let it be neglected and then disappear on us. So, essentially, it's a easement request alert, eyes please, planning board. Anybody got anything open?
well, the other creek we were looking at, that one of our former members was working on was Allen's Creek. He was working with Thermal Fisher at the time. Nothing, of course, ever came of that because he passed away on us. And the town is dealing with the Army Corps and DEC to rebuild the creek banks at certain stages, so that could be an opportunity for a trail through Allen's Creek.
Is this south of the Corbett Glen Falls?
West, yes, east, yeah. Between Corbett's Glen and Panorama Plaza, they're gonna rebuild the
Well,
creek.
there's erosion problems there. Big
Yeah.
time.
Well,
Yeah,
you've got,
big erosion
you've got the
problem.
trailer park on one bank, and you've got the condos on the other.
Well, and then the subdivision goes right, the creek runs right through the middle of the subdivision, so have to be some negotiations there. But they had, part of the sandbank collapsed and it rerouted the creek, so they have to stabilize the
Yeah,
bank.
that's the old sandbank, I know where it is. All right, anybody else have anything open for February as we lead to February 26th? Full moon, sled, snowshoe, winter walk in Harris Whalen Park on Friday, the 26th at 6:30. Anybody? All right, we've had a meeting.
One other area that I want to bring to our attention, the town is going to be doing some remedial work along Route 250 from Whalen Road to our trailhead. They've now staked out all the trees that they want to remove. There may be an opportunity for us to do an Eagle project in there, once the town gets done, to help restore the property a little bit.
Which property?
It's the right of way along 250.
Right.
From the roadway in 20 feet. Most of it is town property, some of it's a little bit of private property. It's north of our trailhead, between there and the corner of Whalen Road.
And I neglected, as I look at my agenda, one other thing, Eagle Scout project opportunity. Get this out on the public airways, but if any scout in the Scout network needs a project, we have a kiosk to be built at the 5-mile road entrance to Honey Creek. That's what, we have a project ready and waiting.
Can you tell me what kind of bridges are on 4 Mile Creek Park, if any?
There's a boardwalk across the other side, one.
One boardwalk?
Yes.
Yeah.
This trail map, which is out there at the kiosk at 4 Mile Creek, hiking opportunity, and this contoured trail map in the kiosk.
A lady friend of mine walked part of the property and said there were stepping stones in one part, which may or may not be good. Depending
Now
if
it's
they're
spicy.
slippery or not. Yeah.
Well, certainly, if there are more scouts with more opportunities, there's more work at 4 Mile Creek Park
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
Anyone else on an open agenda here? You've had a meeting, thank you.